Hello everyone. Welcome back. I'm Bumi, and today we are watching the tier. No, damn it, the three-tier list by TierZoo. This was suggested again by Sammyman9000 over here, and yeah, we are gonna be discussing a lot of trees. And as usual, in these types of science topics, I'm not very familiar. I'm not very knowledgeable of them. So I'm just in it for the ride and just basically just enjoy myself and um, learn a couple new things along the way. So remember, if you like my reactions, don't forget to leave a like, let me know your thoughts on the video down in the comment section below, and consider subscribing. Also, don't forget to leave your suggestions on what I should check out next. Any topic will do, as long as it's not horror. But leave those down in the comments as well. We'll see. I'll probably do one. Um, it depends. But yeah, that being said, let's go ahead and watch the video.
Trees are one of the most meta-defining organisms in the game. When the devs first added them to the game back during the Carboniferous expansion pack, they were so overpowered that they increased the oxygen level to the highest it's ever been, inadvertently buffing the max HP of the arthropod faction. Since then, they've been an ever-present aspect of the game that defines how many of the top builds construct their various game strategies. For example, many of the top builds spec into claws that grant them mobility bonuses in the arboreal biome, which is literally a biome that only exists because of how overpowered
Almost
trees
my
are.
new
But
favorite
are all
word.
trees equally overpowered? Obviously, the only way to answer that question would be with a tier list. So let's get into it. Obviously, this can't be an exhaustive list, but nonetheless, it's what must be done. There aren't any F tier trees, so we're going to start in D tier. The birch tree has some of the lowest defenses of any tree in the game. Of all the tree builds, this
always
one has
reminds
the
me of
thinnest bark,
Minecraft,
making it highly vulnerable to damage that other tree builds would easily ignore. For example, damage from deer players sharpening their antlers, or woodpeckers drilling for prey. Most tree builds don't even take damage from this, as their bark would completely nullify it. But the birch tree is uniquely vulnerable. On top of this, birch trees are actually more flammable than most trees, due to their oily sap and paper-like bark.
Interesting.
Now, all trees are weak to fire, but many of them at least have ways of mitigating this vulnerability, as we shall see with many of the higher-ranking members on this list. Next on the list is the oak tree. The oak is one of the most powerful tree builds in the late game. It can grow higher and wider
big
than
and
most
mighty
other tree
oak,
builds, allowing it to crowd out its competition. It has thick bark, which protects it from weak damage. The oak is also protected at least somewhat from parasites, because its wood and foliage contain tannic acid, a natural deterrent. This is all really solid, and in general, once an oak reaches the late game, it's one of the most powerful and durable tree builds. However, oaks have a really difficult early game, more difficult than most tree builds. The starting form of the oak build is the acorn, which is highly sought after by omnivorous players as they're a great source of XP. So despite oak trees being a great build overall, lately they've been falling in viability as the number of small scavenger builds, like squirrels and woodpeckers, have seen a surge in population recently. To combat this, some oak tree clans have started implementing a strategy where they'll drop 0 acorns some years, starving out the local scavenger players, and then releasing extra the following year, giving new oak mains a better chance to survive. In B tier, we have the maple tree.
That is interesting. So they're basically hedging their bets that the entire, well, trees don't have a natural predator, but the entire squirrels population will die out on the years that they don't produce acorns.
The maple build is sort of the jack of all trades of the tree faction. While it can't grow as large as some of the others, it doesn't get crowded out nearly as easily as birch trees do. Its bark isn't as impenetrable as builds like the oak, but it also certainly isn't weak. One of the reasons maple players can spawn in new locations so easily is that their seeds actually have the flight ability. Not as effective as the drifting ability of plants like the dandelion and milkweed, the maple can still travel long distances with its helicopter Samara seed.
I don't know if we have this tree. I believe it is a mahogany tree that has the same helicopter seeds. We used to play with them all the time. So yeah, I don't know a lot about trees, so I'm just thinking that the ones outside my house are mahogany, because I'm pretty sure they're not maple.
Seeds. Nothing else about the maple is particularly broken though. And oftentimes, this playstyle eventually gets overshadowed by trees that grow bigger and stronger and choke out the maples. Perhaps if the maple didn't put so many points into aesthetics, they'd be top tier. In A
Aesthetics.
tier, we have perhaps one of the most
Colorful
meta-defining
leaves.
tree builds in the entire game, the mangrove. The
Ooh,
mangrove is
yeah.
the only tree build in the game that specs into salt resistance,
Salt
allowing it to grow in
resistance.
shallow places along the coast of the ocean.
Mhm.
This creates an entirely new in-game biome called the mangrove swamp. The mangrove swamp is unique among the game's biomes in that it creates an extremely healthy meta for arboreal builds because they no longer have to fear attacks from ground-based predators.
True.
Mangrove swamps are havens for new aquatic bird players, as well as low tiers like the sloth, seeing as most builds that are prone to griefing them aren't fond of traversing a salty swamp. Salt resistance is an ability that often gets overlooked, but in the right situations, it can turn a lesser-known mid-tier into a dominant high tier. The top tier tree is the conifer. The conifer build is a unique take on the tree build that makes some very interesting
Are
choices
those
when it comes to
like
their abilities.
pine
The
trees?
most obvious is that they've opted to spec into needles rather than leaves, offering a few
Yeah.
advantages and disadvantages. The biggest advantage is that needles don't fall during winter. They're compact enough that they can survive frosts, so the conifer is free to harvest all the XP it wants from the sun, even during the winter when other trees can't. But in addition to that, needles also don't catch wind near as much, meaning high winds can't blow
true.
conifers over nearly as easily as they could a tree with broad leaves on it. Needles are also
Less surface area for wind and snow to catch on.
much tougher for insects to munch on, and also retain water much more effectively, meaning droughts or deep freezes don't dehydrate conifer players. Their disadvantage? Conifers are extremely weak to fire damage. Their waxy needles catch fire much easier than most trees.
Interesting.
However, this is where the conifer's final ability comes into play. Their pine cones are fire resistant and spread seeds more often after being scorched by a flame. Because of this, conifers
yeah.
turn their main weakness
I've heard about this where some plants actually thrive better or regrow after the whole forest is burned down.
into a strength. Due to this amazing slew of abilities, I have to give the ranking of S tier to the conifers. It's no wonder that the giant sequoia, the largest tree build in the game, is
Is
part
a
of the
conifer?
conifer faction. However, as OP as trees are, it's no secret that since the Anthropocene patch, forests have started to disappear, from mangrove swamps to rainforests. Trees are
Global
powerful
warming.
enough to shape the state of the game, to the point that many builds have their playstyle tailored to fit the arboreal environment. But as powerful as trees are, they could use our help respawning. That's why Team Trees, the
Team
movement
Trees,
started by
yeah.
Mr. Beast and Mark
I just saw this when I looked at when this was posted. It was posted around December, I believe. December. No. Let me check. Yeah, this was posted around October 26th, 2019. This was the time when, yeah, as you can see here on screen, Mr. Beast proposed the Team Trees, where every dollar on the what do you call this, donation will get you planted one tree. They were able to raise 20 plus million, I believe, dollars.
Grober, and the largest collaboration of all time, has only one goal: to get people to plant trees. For every dollar donated to the Arbor Day Foundation,
Yeah, here we
link in the
go.
description, one tree will spawn in the game world. All of this video's ad revenue will go towards this initiative. So hey, just by watching, you've planted about 1/500th of a tree. But if you'd like to support Team Trees directly, head on over to teamtrees.org to plant some trees. Thank you all for watching.
Yeah, I don't know if Team Trees is still going on. Let me check. If I'm not sure if they're still accepting donations. Yeah, it looks like they are still accepting donations here. We have actually, yeah, recent, just a couple of minutes ago. Recent donations. So yeah, guys, a friend of mine and me myself have actually donated a couple of trees back in the day when this was first how do you call this, introduced. So yeah, this is still ongoing. So if you're still interested to help the planet out and support Team Trees, go ahead to teamtrees.org and donate there to have a tree planted per dollar that you donate. But yeah, that was it, I guess. The one thing that I did not expect is for the oak to be relatively low tier. I know that it was one of the bigger and trees. That's why the saying is always as mighty as an oak tree, because they are indeed mighty. But yeah, when it comes to like down to technicalities, it seems like conifer trees are the way to go. Um, so yeah, hope I'm not sure what team trees, what kind of trees they are planning, but at this point, it doesn't really matter. We need all the trees we can get. But yeah, it was an interesting video as usual by TierZoo. But that's gonna be it for me today, guys. Link to my Twitter is down in the description below. Go ahead and check it out if you want to. And if you're new here and enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like, let me know your thoughts on the video down in the comment section below, and consider subscribing. Also, leave your suggestions on what I should check out next. Again, any topic will do, as long as it's not horror, but we'll probably get to that at some point. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.